y'all, it's me again. I am back with another update, even though I just did one a few days back. But a lot has changed here recently, and just a lot of strong feelings, new, I guess, perspectives and experiences that are weighing on my heart right now that I just want to share my perspective and testimony and just kind of get this stuff off my heart and hopefully raise some awareness and based on our experiences, and to give everybody a heads up and to just be mindful of a few things, because there's a lot of people just getting so complacent these days, and everybody wants every life to go back to normal so much that they're reaching for things to prove that this thing is behind us, but we're not there yet. And so I'm going to share some of this stuff and update you guys on where we're at. It is probably going to impact the channel in the next month or so. I'm not sure, how uploads are going to go. It will probably change my content, so my plans have changed a bit. So I'm just, as usual, adapting as life changes and throws us curveballs, right? That's the name of the game, is adapting to those life changes. My family is now positive for COVID-19. Here's what happened, just real quick, and to get it right out of the way real quick, we are managing very well. I count my blessings. I am so grateful that it is not as bad as many people experience COVID. We are very blessed and so far managing very well. So what happened, my son, he got to experience a whopping 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday, of preschool. So he was exposed on Thursday, direct contact, and by Sunday he was showing symptoms, and we tested him at his pediatrician's office and he tested positive on Monday. So since we were notified of direct contact, our family has been in quarantine as appropriate, and so thankfully, with it being over the weekend too, that assisted. My daughter, didn't spread it to anybody in her class or anything like that. Long story short, she became symptomatic, my husband and I became symptomatic, and all the symptoms are fairly mild. My husband and I did receive the vaccine, late spring, as early as we possibly could. We got the Pfizer vaccine, and I think my lucky stars we did, because our symptoms are even more mild than our children for the most part. Just my husband and I, it's just very strong fatigue, headaches, backache, body aches, just some cold symptoms. My children, though, they've had some fevers on and off, flu-like symptoms, fatigue, just normal sick stuff. And I think my lucky stars, y'all, is not more severe than that. We seem to be holding our own, and I pray nothing changes. My heart goes out to all of those who are or have experienced much worse and have had to fight for their life, or just unfortunately even lose the battle, or deal with lifelong consequences and symptoms, from this virus for the rest of their lives, whether it's scar tissue on their lungs or breathing issues or whatever, this stuff is real and it's hit home in a very real way here lately, and it's caused a lot of frustration. Now, I typically do not speak on political issues, religious issues, or anything like that. I'm not this. There's a lot of politics regarding this type of topic, and I don't want to go there. That's not the purpose and goal of my channel, and I don't think people should use platforms to do that unless that is the goal and purpose, and everyone is aware of that. As far as the platform goes, but that is not the purpose and goal of Seeing Blind, and so I do not go there. However, I do believe that this channel is about safety, and helping people to live their best, healthy, happy life. And this is related to that. So I'm going to move forward. And if you guys disagree or have a different perspective, hey, let's respect each other. I agree to disagree, and nothing but love and respect, y'all. Hopefully you'll get more benefit from future content. And we can just all still have that level of dignity and respect for each other. But this is just my opinion and my experience, and I just feel like it's important for me to share it. So, as I said, my son received the positive test. We have opted out of testing my daughter because what's the point? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize with how transmissible this virus is. If one person in a household, especially siblings, young siblings, receives a positive test, and the next, all the other family members in the household are showing the exact same symptoms, you could put two and two together. They have COVID-19 too, right? And so I was speaking to my daughter's school today, and they refused to move her from quarantine due to close contact. So they have two categories: quarantine with contact and active cases. And because my husband and I, we feel like it's unnecessary to put my daughter through this very unpleasant testing process unnecessarily. We feel like it's not going to change anything. She has high anxiety already towards medical things like this. Why put her through it? It's not going to change how long she's in quarantine from school. It's not going to change whether it's a excused or unexcused absence. The only thing testing her would do is change numbers, and to us that's not enough of a reason to put her through this unpleasant, very difficult test on a 5-year-old. It was already hard enough on our 3-year-old. And so we've opted out to do that. However, based on the pediatrician's, medical deduction and reasoning and rationale, and our observations as the parents, of these siblings, the school will not recognize that as enough proof to move her from quarantined due to direct contact into active status. And so it's just really kind of opened my eyes to how skewed the numbers are, and how many, in speaking with all of my friends and acquaintances and other parents that have been exposed as well, and all the families that are in the exact same boat from this facility. As it's just in all of these conversations the last 48, 72 hours, it's come to my attention so many people took at-home tests, and none of those numbers are reported. So many people took tests like 3 days after exposure 4 and tested negative, and then went out and saw family and went out to eat, and less than 24 hours later then tested positive after they were already, once they were beginning to feel like, oh, I've got some symptoms. They then tested positive, but they were probably spreading it to everyone in the restaurant. But they thought they were okay because they got that negative first test back, and they just had not waited the full incubation period. There's a reason why they say, hey guys, wait 5 days. You got to let those antigens, incubate to really show up in those at-home tests. And so many people aren't doing that, at least here. That's been our observations and experiences. And so it's just really caused some frustration that a lot of the numbers just are so inaccurate, and people are thinking here in the area that we live in that, oh, everything's okay, the numbers aren't that bad, oh, all this stuff. It's like this level of complacency, and they want it to go back to normal so much, so badly, that they are blind, if you will, to just how potentially bad they are, and that because there are people vaccinated, they're asymptomatic and don't realize they're spreading it. There's people taking the at-home test, and no one knows that they're positive, except of course the people in their circles. And so it just so much gets unreported, and so I feel like this thing is bigger and badder, at least in my area, than being reported. And it's just a huge level of concern for me, especially when they're making decisions on whether these kids should continue to go to school in person or not. I don't think it's, unfortunately, worth the health risks, because the ripple effect of one positive case on every family member in a household, and then potentially from then on, it's a huge domino effect, and I underestimated that. I underestimated the ripple impact and how profound it is and can be. So I'm taking it a lot more seriously now. I took it seriously before, but definitely more so now. And I'm frustrated at my daughter's school because there is no, third category that counts numbers from quarantine due to close contact to quarantine due to just one positive test in a household. I think that there should be a distinction there, and I think people should recognize, that there are a lot of people in that situation where you only need one positive test in a household. I mean, that should be sufficient, but it's not. And I get it. It's just kind of put us in a rock and a hard place there, and I'm just kind of left with this frustration. There's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is, and that's just the path in front of us. So we're in quarantine. We'll keep trucking on. As far as my son's preschool goes, almost the entire school tested positive. I mean, it's a massive outbreak. And we will accept some accountability in that we knew masks were not mandated at this school. Pretty much no one wore masks. And I understand it's a preschool, young kids, 2, 3, 4 years old, they consistently don't wear masks. They might share them and give them to their friends, or sneeze in them, wipe their nose with them and hand them off, or lose them, whatever the case may be. I get it. It's not very practical, but at the same time, here's where our frustration levels are. So this school has just chosen not to mandate masks for that reason, just to not even try. And it frustrates me, because I still want him to understand the importance of it. I still want him to be educated. We are trying to do that here at the house, and to teach him the values of public safety and thinking of others' health, and how our decisions and choices impact other people's, and our right to make those decisions does not give us the right to put other people at risk. And I'm trying to teach these values, and it's just so difficult when places do not, they send mixed messages. So for example, my daughter, who goes to kindergarten public school, they have a mask mandate, but parents can opt out of it. You can sign a form and opt your child out of it for any reason. And so thus, no one's there's a mask mandate, but no one wears a mask because, my parents signed a note. And my daughter's getting mixed messages. She doesn't understand. Well, Mom, why do I have to wear a mask if half my class doesn't think it's important and they don't? And so it's so hard to teach her public safety and the rationale for doing so when everything kind of negates it. This is an area that really is against masks. Unfortunately, we live in an area that just does not. They have a me perspective instead of a public safety perspective, and we are very compassionate, caring people for everyone, and we wanted to do what's right for everyone. And a small task such as wearing a mask is a small thing for us, and we have no problem doing it to benefit the overall public safety and health of everyone. And it's been hard to help instill that in our children. But back to my son's preschool, so they did not have a mask mandate, and so no one wore masks, of course, and we knew that. But our frustration there is that even now with this massive outbreak at his preschool, they still will not change the mask mandates and encourage any kind of education on the importance of wearing masks. Even if you're not going to mandate masks, okay, fine. But how about you still, like, let's incorporate lessons on why you should and why it is important and why some people do. And guys, I understand there are legitimate reasons why some people cannot wear a mask. I'm not trying to be hypocritical and say, hey, everyone should wear a mask, even if it's going to put their health at risk. Like, my health is not any more important than anyone else's, and so we all have to do what's right for us, right? And I understand there are people out there that masks make it very difficult to breathe, or they may have some sort of disability or traumatic experience that really makes it very difficult to wear a mask. And I believe there are times and situations when, okay, fine, make other choices, do whatever you need to do, but acknowledge the importance of public safety in other ways. Make an effort, at least. I think it's just, in this area at least, people push against it so much for no legitimate medical reason at all, and don't even want to put forth the effort of just making the small effort of wearing a mask to acknowledge public safety and respect their community, and have no legitimate reason why they can't wear a mask. But I do understand that there are those who do, and I understand there's exceptions to every rule. And so I'm not saying that everyone has to wear a mask, because I get there are certain situations, but it's this absolute lack of total effort. Like, oh, well, we can't mandate everybody, so we're just not going to do it, or we're not going to, it's just this complete lack of trying. I truly feel that sometimes, like, okay, if you're not going to mandate, but at least make an effort to educate and encourage as much as possible. It could prevent just one family. It could have prevented us from getting COVID if just one kid was encouraged to wear his mask. Whether he wore it consistently or not doesn't matter. The effort's still there, and the education is there, and maybe next year it could make a difference. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but my point is, try. Can we all agree that it's in everyone's best interest to try and to educate and to teach our kids the right choices and what is a healthy choice for not just them, but their friends and their fellow students and their teachers and their neighbors, and how to keep everybody safe in this difficult time. And so that's where I'm at, guys, and I'm sorry if you feel differently. Hey, if you have a medical condition that makes masks very difficult for you, hey, I'm sorry. My heart goes out to you. I apologize that this has been clearly a very difficult thing to go through, considering everything, but for most people there isn't a legitimate medical reason, and so I just feel like it's such a small thing. Like, why not? If it's such a small thing that we can all do for each other, it could potentially save a life. And I would be absolutely devastated if we didn't acknowledge quarantine and we went out and I got someone else sick, thinking, oh, well, I've been vaccinated and I'm asymptomatic, so there's no way I would spread it. But I did end up spreading it, and someone died because of that. Do you all realize I would live with that horribly the rest of my life. I don't know. I would really struggle with self-forgiveness on that part. And I'm just, I don't know. I'm really struggling with this, y'all. It's brought up a lot of very difficult thoughts and a lot of difficult decisions. We're not sure if we want to continue sending our son to this preschool knowing that they are not going to change their policies, knowing that they do not want to help educate the kids and how, importance of hand washing and importance of like all this stuff of wearing masks and just trying like, hey, let's decorate our own mask and make it fun, a creative activity. Like nothing, not even trying. I mean, just it makes us wonder, do we want to keep supporting a facility like this? I understand there are families out there that like and prefer facilities that do not mandate masks, and I understand that. But this is me voicing my perspective and why I would appreciate the security and extra public safety and go ahead and mandate masks. And if you have a legitimate reason why you should not wear a mask, then fine. Bring that to everyone's awareness, and I'm sure we could all have mutual respect and understanding and know that, hey, there is a reason why you're not wearing a mask, and I can respect that. Because just like I want you to respect my wish of not putting my family at risk, I can respect others in that this mask puts your health at risk. And so the road does go both ways. But right now I feel like, again, there's just not even an effort anymore. There's not, people are just, they're done. And unfortunately the virus isn't. And I don't know how we're going to beat it if we don't pay attention. And I don't know, guys, I could go on and on. But I thank you for staying with me through this rant. And I would appreciate continued prayers through this process. And keep us in your thoughts. And I will do the same for you guys as well. I'll probably making the merch shop that I mentioned in the previous video available here very soon, so make sure you stay aware of any posts on other social media such as Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. I'll probably make it known there. And stay tuned to some interesting content coming up here in the home during quarantine, most likely quarantine and products and just different things we have around the house. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but it's not gonna be out and about with the cane anymore, so stay tuned, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me. Blessings to you and yours.